Hi, good evening. How are you doing today? So, welcome to my daily live session on various topics for creating world class companies and exceptional leaders. Last week, I spoke about chakras, which is the essence, the flow, which is the essence of creating world class companies and exceptional leaders. And in this series, I am speaking about mindset and culture. So I started about talking about the various ideas of the brain and mind, and after that spoke about mindset and culture. And today I'll be talking about learning. So let me just directly put on that slide so that it becomes easier for people to follow. So I spoke about brain, mind, mindset, culture, and today my focus will be on learning. And after that, I will speak about do how next week, and maybe a little more insight into learning. I would say learning possibly needs a little more detail to understand what is the logic. Unless you have understood, and I have understood what the logic is, it becomes extremely difficult to really what should I say, deliver something and make it more effective. So understanding of the cause and effect is extremely important. Therefore, I have been presenting this. So if you like it, please share your comments, and then let us converse. It's something which is for mutual benefit for me to learn. I have a lot of things to learn, and at the same time, you can also maybe understand something from whatever I've learned and discovered on my in my research, in my experiences, and in my journey of trying to create world-class companies and exceptional leaders. So, with that brief introduction, let me just start off by explaining what I had shown till now, and then go to the next topic. I had spoken about these topics. I started with explaining about the brain, what our brain is. You can watch the video only on brain. It's a little more detailed. And then spoke about what our mind is. I related brain to the hardware, and then mind to the software. And on the software, when I say it's something which is what we are continuously evolving software, it's not just a static software. And on the right side, you see the animation of synapses being formed, which is the way we learn. Whenever we learn, a new synapse is formed. I explained that in detail. And after that, I went on to talk to you about a mindset, which is about emotions, and emotions being good, bad, or ugly. And these emotions then creating a framework. And this framework is something which is nothing other than mindset, which is what that drives predictions in real time basis, is what I explained. And these predictions in real time basis also can be validated through scientific research. And I also said that you could check out the readiness potential, and then went on to explain that this particular prediction, which the mind is doing constantly in real time basis, is something which drives our predictions. And these predictions are the ones which are responsible for our perceiving the reality, for thinking by connecting the dots, for deciding, and finally for acting or responding for survival, progeny, belonging, and for evolving life. And then I went on to explain that mindset therefore defines and drives the way we are perceiving, thinking, deciding, and acting or responding. And then after that, I went on to talk about the culture, which is nothing other than the collective mindset of teams, which are coming with different mindsets. And these different mindsets mean that in each team there are people from different backgrounds, different mindset, and that the team collectively also would have the same kind of an experience as an individual in terms of having emotional experiences, emotional memories. And these emotional memories and experiences then result into being good, being bad, and being ugly. And those then result into a framework, which is a team mindset or a culture, is what I would call it as. And this is then something which drives collective team predictions and behaviors. And these collective teams predictions and behaviors is what I would call it as culture. And therefore, summing up, mindset defines and drives our individual and collective actions, and collective actions and behaviors, while culture those of teams. This is something which is very important. I think there is a small mistake here. I should have written down. I think let me correct it straight away. So let us not do that mistake. Mindset drives the individual, and individual actions. This I think is wrong. So let me correct it. And actions and behavior, while culture those of teams. That's something which is what I had explained. So let me go back to the presentation mode. See, I'm in a learning phase, so please pardon me if I correct something like this online. So all these are things which have been continuously learning, continuously improving. So there's somewhere something which is wrong means correct it immediately. That's my mindset. I don't want to keep it as a mistake and later correct it at a later date. So please pardon me for that. So now let me talk about learning aspects, starting by talking about what is growth or agile mindset and what is fixed mindset. See, when we talk about mindset, there are fundamentally two types of mindset that one could discuss and define. One would be called as a fixed mindset, the other one would be called as an agile mindset. What is the difference? The fixed mindset basically believes that intelligence is static. That's the kind of fundamental belief, fundamental perception, fundamental principle. Oi, Arildo, tudo bem? Muito bem que você está vindo. Por favor, fica vindo e também fica fala para os amigos também para ver. Sorry, I spoke with Mr. Arildo from Brazil. I spoke in Portuguese, so now I get back to English. So fixed mindset is all about intelligence, which is static. Intelligence is static is the belief in fixed mindset. In the agile mindset, there is a belief that intelligence can be developed. Anybody can develop. That's the foundation of learning. That's the foundation of continuous improvement or continual improvement, I would say. Not continuous is something where you're continuously trying to improve something. Continual improvement is something where you improve a little bit and then go a little horizontal, then again improve. That means it's sustainable improvement is continual improvement in terms of the words. So now fixed mindset leads to a desire to always look smart and therefore a tendency to look for people who can reinforce their self-esteem, avoid new experiences with fear of failure, avoid challenges, give up easily, see effort as fruitless or worse, avoid and ignore useful negative feedback. Whatever you have written on the left side, you can read that. Whereas on the other side, on the right side of the slide, you have some explanation of the agile mindset, which speaks about people leads to a desire to continually learn and therefore a tendency to look for people who challenge them to grow, embrace novelty with a desire to master new skills, embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, see effort as a path to mastery, and so on. So here I want to just quote a very simple example from day before yesterday. I said I was there in a big company working as a jury for quality circles, and there in the introductory talk, the big boss there, big boss of that particular unit, he spoke about something which really struck me. He said that, look, guys, all of you are quality circle. I said, explained yesterday. It's a kind of a movement which started in Japan for continual improvement. It's about continual learning, continual improvement. He said that, look, guys, you need to be making sure that the presentations are so good that the judges would never find any fault in you. And that's the message he gave to all the quality circle teams. And of course, that message was not really of much sense, because there were definitely a lot of improvement potentials, because we are coming from a different perspective. So we definitely look at things in a different way. So you get improvement potentials. And that statement which he made, in my opinion, would more tend towards a fixed mindset, where you're trying to look for people who can reinforce their self-esteem, reinforce that you've done a good job. And that is what fixed mindset is all about. When you're trying to go in the direction, you are not really open to learning at all. People are closed because they only want people to say that you did a great job. Whether the job was good or not, it doesn't really matter. Whereas on the other side, if somebody is having a agile mindset or a growth mindset, then welcoming criticism is something which is natural in their blood. And you may ask me as to what is it that I'm talking about? Why do I talk about this? I worked in a German company for 26 years, company named Bosch. I keep telling about this quite regularly. In Bosch, whenever I went to a meeting, whenever I wanted to present something, I would be extremely happy if somebody didn't criticize anything. They would not really. Patting on the back was very, very rare. Somebody telling that you did a great job. Great job would only happen if you are a master. And to become a master, one would have put in 35, 40 years of service. It's not possible that just like that you become a master. So continually you're learning. So whenever I go to a meeting, my main intention was to come out with areas of improvement. Funny, isn't it? And that's what that makes the companies excellent. Bosch is a company which has been thriving in this world, and despite all ups and downs, for the last 130 odd years, 140 years now possibly. And in the Indian context, I think Bosch or Myco has never declared any loss at all in the last 70 odd years. A Bosch 125 years never had any problem with loss. Similarly, there are other companies. I talk about Bosch because I come from that company. There are other companies like IBM, for example, or maybe even Indian companies, Aditya Birla Group, Tata Group, Godrej. These companies which have really established that there is consistent, sustainable growth possible have this kind of a mindset which is very, very, what should I say, aligned towards the agile mindset on the right side. Now, that is one aspect which one needs to keep in mind, which I kept in mind when I went on to discover as to how this agile mindset could be developed. For this, there are two more aspects which I have to talk about. Let me go to that briefly. One is the way you teach people, way you learn. There are two ways of learning. One is the didactic learning or the didactic teaching, and Socratic learning. In the didactic teaching, the basic assumption is that the teacher is the expert. You get that? Didactic learning believes that the teacher is the expert. Therefore, the teacher is basically explaining students what needs to be done. In the Socratic learning, on the other side, it is believed that the students are the experts. Funny, isn't it? Students are the experts. And the teacher is only facilitating the students to discover more, even more. So what is the ultimate aim of the didactic learning? Didactic learning ultimate goal is to say that wisdom viewed as the internalization of truths and beliefs, which the teacher is telling. Whereas the ultimate goal of Socratic learning is to view that wisdom is viewed as an informed ignorance, knowing what one does not know. That is the ultimate goal of the Socratic learning. Once I know that I don't know something, then naturally there is an instinct, naturally there is a drive for me to learn more, which means Socratic learning will work only if the organization or people are more towards the agile mindset. Of course, it's not possible to say that everybody is going to have agile mindset throughout the day for every aspect. It is definitely possible that in some cases we are more in the fixed mindset space, and in some cases, some aspects of life we are in the agile mindset space. But Socratic learning is something which is making people to discuss, making people to debate. And that is something which is very, very essential. So let me start by making some examples here. You can read the slide as you see this video. Socratic didactic learning talks about presenting information to the student with materials prepared ahead of time. That means teacher is very clear. Teacher is very, very secure because teacher knows what is he talking about. That's the preparation which the teacher is doing. Teacher-centered, based on the assumption that the teacher is the primary agent of learning. Teacher's role to impart the results of experience, personal study, and reflection. Teacher is telling what I have done. Primarily deductive. The usual methods are lecture, storytelling, use of analogy, dictum, which is saying, I'm telling, this is what it is. I have told this, therefore you do it. Test of truth, authority, and experience. Look at the other side, Socratic learning. Challenging the student with questions about their own beliefs and experiences. This is about student-centric learning. The teacher is basically challenging the students. I remember I'll talk about that a little later after I've explained this. Primary center, problem centered, based on the assumption that the student is the primary agent of learning. Teacher's role to uncover the question that the answer hides, to be a co-learner. You look at this, in the case of Socratic learning, the teacher also is learning. It's not that the teacher is an expert. Teacher is believing that I am not no expert at all. You are the guys who are better than me, so you teach me. So both of us are going to discover it together, jointly, mutually. Test of truth is reasoning and evidence. Learning is a conflict of ideas, a thesis, antithesis, and a synthesis that results in new insights. This is something which is phenomenal, isn't it? As adults, we basically work with, we are more excited with Socratic learning, not with didactic learning. But unfortunately, all the training programs in the world, especially in the developing world, are more didactic in nature. I give an example here. My daughter did her graduation in Bangalore, and after that went on to do her post-graduation in US. And then she used to tell me that, see, the teacher or the professor would basically send them a PDF file of the material that he's going to teach the next day, or the content for the next class. And then the kids are supposed to be doing research, going to Google, going to libraries. And I believe there is what is called as Google Scholar, which talks about all research papers. They need to run through that and basically learn over the night. And the next day morning, the students are mainly involved in discussing and debating about the content that teacher sent to them the previous night. They are not really learning anything at all. Teacher is not teaching anything. Teacher is only observing the students in terms of the discussion and assessing them in terms of the extent of the body of knowledge that each one is contributing to. How are they discussing? How are they behaving? How is the team behavior? How How are the team dynamics? And that's what the teacher is assessing, which is a different dimension altogether, isn't it? In India also, I believe it happens. I have not had the experience of doing that. I believe in IIMs it is quite common to have Socratic sessions like that, and in some of the other colleges. Whereas in the West, in the advanced world, it's quite common, very very common. Even as a kid, the teacher would like to get the kid to express whatever they want. I believe the new education policy in India will tend to go towards that direction. I don't know. And incidentally, in ancient India, I'm talking about ancient India when universities like Taxila, then Nalanda, Sharda University, all these were very much popular in India. I believe everybody in the world would come to India to learn. And in these universities, the primary mode of teaching was Socratic. The primary mode of learning were debates, discussions. They would happen continuously. And nowadays, it's all gone, isn't it? Do we have debates going on the? But well, of course, the debates, what happened on the television is a different story altogether. There, people are just screaming. There is no base, there is no knowledge, there is no. And in fact, in the Indian ancient Indian universities, there are very clear guidelines as to what is a good debate, what is a bad debate. So that is all about Socratic learning. What you see on the right side, you can take your time to pause the video and then look through the slide in detail. And I will introduce another concept to you, which is difference between pedagogy and andragogy. Pedagogy is the science of teaching to kids, how kids learn. Andragogy is the science of teaching adults. Again, some of these things which I'm telling may be quite shocking to you, but that's the reality. That's the reality in which we are in. It's an illusionary world. Pedagogy is good for teaching children, whereas andragogy is good for teaching adults, or method for teaching adults, method for teaching children. Pedagogy believes that learning is dependent on the teacher. It's primarily a didactic method because the kids have not really understood, not really learned so many things. So they have to be told, some base has to be formed. Whereas in the case of andragogy, as adults, we have experienced life so many years. So learning is dependent on the learning. And it is primarily Socratic method. It is not didactic in nature at all. And learning is curriculum centered in pedagogy. In andragogy, learning is context and problem centered. My dear ladies and gentlemen, who do you call as an adult? Is an adult who is, let us say, 17, 18 years old? Is a teen an adult? Of course, a teen is an adult. And in that case, are you teaching even in postgraduate colleges? People are giving notes. I remember one incident from my experience in doing an MBA. When I was in Bosch, just then I joined. I wanted to do a post-graduation course. I couldn't afford to go to IIM. Therefore, I went and joined MBA in Bangalore University. And those days, I'm talking about late 80s or mid 80s. We didn't have any internet, phone, mobile phone, nothing of that kind. We just had landlines, and we didn't have a phone at home. No television, nothing at all. So we went there. I used to go to the Bangalore University for the class, and the professor would basically look down. He didn't even have the ability to look into the eyes of the students. He would look down and keep reading his notes, and he expected all the students to write down the notes. So I said, it is absolute nonsense. I have come here to basically listen to the professor and learn something from him. Instead of that, he's basically dictating notes and he wants us to write down. It's an MBA class, my dear ladies and gentlemen, mind you, postgraduate course. And then everybody would write down the notes. And then I would not write down the notes. Those days, the only way of communicating was through writing letters. So I would use that time to write letters or doodle something. And then quite a few of my classmates had gone to the US. So I would write letters in the classroom. So he came and asked me, what are you doing? I said, look, sir, if you are reading me the notes, I might as well do that. I can go to a library and sit there and learn. I don't need you to give me the notes. And then he said, you are really arrogant. Absolutely not allowed. You get out of the class. So I got out of the class. I said, why? I said, I'm using this time more productively, sir. I'm writing letters to my friends. Otherwise, I would not have found time. And then he said, you get out of my class. Fortunately to me, after he asked me to get out of my class, I got an opportunity to go to Germany. Anyway, I would not have been able to continue MBA there. Though that was a God-given gift, which really gave me a huge exposure to the world. So pedagogy is what we use even today for adults. You go to a training program in any college. In fact, when I keep talking to companies, the HRs ask me for a PowerPoint to be sent on my training program. I said, I don't have a PowerPoint. I don't have a PowerPoint because my training program is Socratic. My training program is andragogy. My training program is agile mindset based, not for kids. So I don't want to keep on lecturing. So you decide what you do. Today, I'm doing that because I want to at least get this information across to as many as possible. If you are interested, please write to me at dinakar@samutana.com. Let me just share that here on the video. And then we can definitely have a chat. Definitely I can explain to you what way we train. It is not a training program. It's basically a self-discovery program which is contextual in nature. That is something which I would talk about in the next slide. So this is my email. You can write to me, dinakar@samutana.com. And if you want to visit the website, then you need to go to dinakarmurthy.com, because these two are different. There was some problem in the domain, and domain access, the provider goofed up a little. So you can write to me at dinakar.com, dinakar@samutana.com, and after that we will speak about that. In whatever training that I am doing, it's all andragogy based. And then look at this here: teachers' expertise is a learning resource, learners' experience is a learning resource, andragogy. Then motivation to learn is externally driven, obviously by the parents, by somebody outside. In this case, motivation to learn is driven internally. So the first thing that one has to do when you're trying to teach adults is to make the adult thirsty. It's like trying to get the horse drink water, right? The one way of doing it is take the horse to the water, pull it, and try to make the horse drink water. Keep beating the horse to drink the water. It won't drink the water if it is not thirsty. The other easier way of doing it is make the horse run a lot, and after that the horse becomes thirsty. Automatically, it will go and drink the water. And that's extremely important in adult learning. It's important that one needs to make sure that there is a motivation to learn. Without that, there is no point in sending people to training programs. I'm sure many of you would do that. Have a massive LMS. LMS means a lot of training programs, learning management system with a lot of training modules, and each one have to register there and go and sit and attend the training program. Somebody has said you go and attend the training program. Okay, you attend the training program. What is the outcome of that? Nothing much at all. Nothing much at all. It's not because the training program content is bad. It's basically because the methodology used is bad. Pedagogy is what is used for training adults, which is wrong. You can't really work in a didactic way when you're teaching adults. So next, these are the three concepts which I wanted to share with you. And after that, I go to the next one, which is to talk about what is it that we do? How do we change mindset? We change mindset by discussions and debates on contextual topics, which naturally create emotional experiences so much needed to change both individual mindset and team culture. And for that, it is important to work around a context, what you see here. Context is what target you want to achieve, where are you going, and what is all about this context is what is the base for our training program. Why do I talk about this training program? I'm not trying to do any marketing of our program. I'm trying to talk about something which I have done, which we keep doing, which is successful, which is extremely beneficial, and that's something which I want to share so that anybody can use this. People can start doing it. It's only to create discussions and debates on contextual topics. Contextual topics are important. Just debating and discussion will be a discussion over a drink, which really doesn't really help any organization. So with that, I end today's discussion. I'm sorry I went on a little more longer than anticipated, and wish you a nice evening. Have a nice evening. And then in India, those of you in India, those of you outside India, have a great day ahead. And see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, my main topic would be to explain to you how is it that I've created these contextual hints, how to do that. I'm talking about how this contextual hints can be formed and how can one create these contextual debates, and also to talk about what are the three different domains of learning, which is also equally important to understand before we go into a little more depth. So next week, Monday should be fine. Monday evening is okay. Today is Friday, so tomorrow and day after I won't be here. And in the meantime, wish you all a very, very happy Deepavali, happy Diwali for all of you. And then see you again on Monday. Monday I'll be back here. Monday is the first day of Deepavali, which is Balipadyami in Karnataka. I'll be here at 8:30. I'll be talking to you about the three types of learning, and then we go into the depth of what the do-how does, how the contextual hints are generated, and then we can speak about little more on changing mindset. Thanks a lot for watching, and goodbye. Enjoy your festivities.